Dubby.
I got background audio tracks. Are you gonna try going to look for another knife? Why don't you use a bigger knife?
I'm gonna use a bigger knife.
There we go.
You can go up there, buddy.
So we're making chestnut soup, roasted chestnut soup. Chestnuts roasting in my open oven, right? So you can find chestnuts in all of the grocery stores right now, most of your markets. They're a hard nut to crack. Nope. Exactly. Pun intended. So get a good sharp knife. Mike's helping me, and he always likes to come help me in the kitchen when I'm doing something that's somewhat Italian. So we're having so I'm taking the chestnuts and we're putting an X over, cutting an X on the one side of them, and that side is going to stay up, and we're going to put them in a 400-degree oven, probably for at least 30 to 40 minutes. We're going to keep checking on them so the top part where the X's were cut are going to curl back, and then when you can actually squish them with your fingers a little bit just to see if they've softened, that's when you know they're ready. And then we're going to supplement, because I'm going to make a big pot of it, but I did have this cool bag. And you can buy these everywhere, not just grocery stores, but I seriously saw them at the dollar store a while back. So they are peeled, roasted chestnuts ready to go.
But we didn't buy these at the dollar store, did we? I can't eat anything from the dollar store. It'll give me gas.
Oh my God. I seriously could make the same soup, but in both of them, and you would never know the difference.
No, but I'll have gas.
Oh, okay, because it's dollar store? Okay, yeah. So I'm never gonna get a dollar store sponsor for this podcast ever. I'm never ever.
Okay. That was.
Anyways, just like every other soup, basic soup that I've always other recipes, same idea. We're basically going to, after we roast them, we're going to peel them once they're cool enough to peel.
Yes.
We're going to cover them with stock. We're going to put some fresh thyme. We're going to saute some onions at the bottom of the thing. Onions, thyme, chestnuts, stock. That's it. Once they've softened a lot and simmered for a good 20-25 minutes, we're going to take the immersion blender to them. So that's actually going to kind of puree them out as much as we possibly can. And then we're going to take that next step and we're going to bring out the sieve. Michael, should we finish with it? Remember the sieve that we used in the old bisque? The bisque that we did a couple years ago?
Did you know that was my nickname in college hockey?
Sieve? Oh no, you were that. He was that kind of goalie. Oh, that's funny.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
After you peel those back, would you ever save the?
No.
I guess I'll call shells. Like you would have never boil those.
No.
Or do anything with the.
I've never heard of anything. I could be wrong.
The shells?
Yeah, there's almost no flavor to them. No. They're just fibrous.
Okay.
No. Yeah, stick in your teeth. You don't want anything. So there's actually an inner peeling. You'll get to see them. I'll put up some pictures on the show notes too. So we're actually going to peel back the shells. Once they're peeled back, you're going to see there's almost like an inner, like an
egg.
Because similar to most walnut, they also have that same kind of like a thin membrane or layer over top of it. Okay. Same idea. So we're just going to take that, and then even the ones that don't peel the same, if we can cut them open and take whatever of the meat out of it, we will, so we don't lose any of the meats.
My Italian family used to roast chestnuts.
Yes,
that's what you're doing.
Yes, we're doing that in the oven though.
Soup.
Yeah, but you're roasting them first.
No, but we would roast them and then peel them and eat them like one-timers.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
Yes. That's the first time. And I'm going to let you do a few of those. You'll be very surprised. They're not warm and fresh compared to the other ones, but they're not.
Oh, I can't eat that. If that was from the dollar store, I will literally throw it.
Oh my God. I have an entire crowd cheering. By the time that people are listening to this, they just heard a big crowd cheering and applauding for you.
The crowd roared.
And the crowd roared because he just blew through those chestnuts and didn't cut a finger.
That is so cool. So there would be no way other than cooking those and getting the skins to open to get those.
Unless you buy them at the dollar store.
Sure.
Oh my God, they also sell them at the grocery store. Get over yourself.
But you bought those at the dollar store.
My little prince.
I didn't say I bought them.
I didn't say I bought them at the dollar store.
Is that Chablis?
I said they were okay. Change the topic. Start talking about Chablis. 400-degree oven. At least 25 minutes, and we'll check on them.
Will the recipe be on the website?
The recipe will be on the show notes, Michael. Do you happen to know what the address is for the show notes?
No.
This is episode 19, so it's stephaniepiche.ca/flavor19.
That's where I'll find the show notes.
You'll find the show notes. And in the show notes will be recipe for the chestnut soup. There's going to be other recipes, and also the link to buy the Peller Estates Ice Cuvée in case you want to buy another bottle since we just polished off that one.
Excellent. Are we going to also include all the wines that we drink tonight during the production of this podcast?
We can. We will actually we'll actually take all of the bottles and we'll do a whole lineup shot and we'll show everyone tomorrow. Because this is #Wineapalooza 2017.
And then we're gonna put that on the podcast.
Yes, we're gonna put that on the podcast. Okay, so we're peeling the chestnuts. He does it right in front of that's like the sound of Christmas right there.
It is.
And see how there's like a bit of fuzz?
Yes.
Yes.
Should I cut some fuzz off?
No. Well, you can rub it off with a paper towel if you want. So because now you see why you put the X on it, right? Oh yeah, they're hot.
They're hot.
Your hands are like mine. There, see, pick. I pay a lot for these nails. I can get through anything.
Yeah.
So some of them, some of them, if they didn't open the same, go ahead and use like a knife and get as much as you can out of them. You don't want to waste any of it. And I'll leave it so I can open them and then you can clean them. How's that? Oh, look at this one's perfect.
Clean them with the.
I do want to. I want to take a picture of it so I can put it on the show notes just to show people how it starts to open. Okay. So I just put a picture in the show notes of what the chestnuts look like when they've been starting to open. And then once they are open, we're going to chop them up. Actually, we're going to just chop them up roughly with a knife.
Yeah.
Then we're going to put them in with the stalk, and I just picked all the leaves off the fresh thyme.
Oh, gosh.
I know, fancy, eh?
Yeah.
Between that and the stalk, we'll put a little bit of garlic. I don't want to put too much because it kind of overpowers it, I find. Chestnut nut meat is almost got a sweet taste to it. So once we put that in, we're going to balance it out with some salt so it's not so sweet. And then we're going to add some cream. Not only low-fat cream, not in my house.
Okay, no. That's not. That's,
And if you want to get really fancy, you can even do one of those foam things, like a cappuccino. You put like a cream foam.
Yeah. Really?
We could. But I just want to have the soup like in a mug with a spoon. I think that's very Christmassy to have that, right?
Very festive.
Very festive. And it actually freezes beautifully. So if you want to make a big batch of it, go ahead and put a container of it in your freezer or smaller containers, and you can just defrost it whenever you want. Heat it on low with the cream. And maybe just re-season it again after you freeze it, because sometimes the salt balance gets off a little bit.
Now, question.
Yeah.
How many chestnuts did we start with, and how many servings would this be?
10, 15, 20, 25. I don't know. This is probably going to do like a good serving of 4 for 4. If you want to get a lot, you could probably squeeze out 6 depending on the size of the portions, depending if you're going to do appetizer size or if you're going to do like full bowls, right? So if you want to do cups and mugs, you could probably get 6 out of this, but we'll kind of measure it out as we go. Okay. I'm also thinking this would be an example for those who didn't get my appetizer episode that I did. This is fun to do in little shooter glasses. Mm-hmm. Right?
Shooter glasses!
It's Michael's first time on a podcast.
I think I just remembered something. How my aunts used to do it. I think I just remembered something.
What?
Did
How
you
they
see
would?
what I just did? It's how my aunts used to do it.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
Chestnuts are a huge Italian Tamburo family.
Yeah. So, anyways, you just took the side of the chef knife and just pushed down on the outside of it to kind of loosen the skins a little bit before you peel them. And just that for sound effects. All right, we'll come back, I guess, when the soup's done.
See how clean it is.
Ready? Okay, so you were asking me what yeast is?
Yes.
Okay.
What is yeast?
Yeast is actually a living organism. You know that? It's alive.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a fungus in a way, to
Okay.
a certain extent. So it needs to grow and be bigger, just like any kind of organisms are, like that. I add a little bit of sugar to feed it, and a little bit of warm water, and all of that, when you mix it together, it gets all big and foamy like that.
Okay.
So that just means it's called blooming. That just means to show you that you're kind of getting the yeast activated. So it's all excited, ready to go. And it also shows that the yeast is not bad or dead or anything else.
And I missed that part. Where was the yeast prior to being?
It was in a little package.
Right,
Like
okay,
these,
okay,
and you can get so you can get those. Yeah, so you just pour that in there. You add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, warm water,
Okay.
and then you let it sit until it gets all fuzzy like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So don't read the instructions because I'm telling you the instructions.
Cool.
Yeah, just put them over there. Okay. So as it's sitting here, so now we need to warm our liquids. So this is a 1/4 cup of margarine. Now your recipe is going to call for butter, but my grandmother always used margarine.
Okay.
So we're going to use margarine to keep it old school.
We'll see what your grandmother knew that nobody else knew.
That was what she had. So if you want to be the authentic one. So I'm just putting this stainless steel bowl right on top of my burner on very low, just because I want to melt the butter and I want to warm it with the milk. And remember what milk I was using?
No.
Evaporated.
Yeah, canned milk from the can.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
okay.
what
Right.
my grandmother always used,
Okay,
right?
evaporated milk.
So you can use regular 2% milk if you want, but my grandmother always used canned milk because it's non-perishable. It's always in her cupboard. She could use it whenever, right?
Right.
So we're kind of going to let that melt. So while I'm melting that margarine with the milk, which isn't going to take very long, I have a hand beater here with some eggs. Do you want to crack 2 eggs into that big bowl?
I will.
Oh, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about the wine that we're having.
Excellent.
Good idea. Good point.
Yes.
Because we're on bottle number...
Oh God.
I 1, 2. Okay, use this. Just on the counter, Michael.
Let's see, we had
It's much easier.
Head, then we had Florida Fair White.
I know. So we're
Then
gonna.
we had Bubbles. Then we had Chablis. Okay, that's 4. Then we had that. The Pinot didn't get consumed.
The Chablis.
So it was,
No, we switched over to the 1999 de Chateauneuf de Pape.
That bottle 6. Oh. 4 of us.
That's only a bottle number 6. Hashtag Winapalooza. So we've just. No. Okay, stop shushing
We're
her.
recording, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Okay. Michael's first time with the handle. Just do it very
Just like
slowly. Yeah. So you're gonna beat that. Beat the eggs. And while you're doing that, now that this is starting to warm, I'm going to add the sugar. I'm going to add some sugar to it so the sugar has a chance to melt.
Okay.
You think that's okay? So we're going to add some of that crushed cardamom. Smell that. That smells like Finland. That's
Literally.
that literally smells like Finland. That's fresh cardamom that I just ground in my little spice grinder.
Yeah, it smells like my college girlfriend. It's crazy.
Okay, you're a funny guy. Okay, okay. Okay, you never told me you knew a Finlander? So I'm stirring it. See how it's still like there's a chunk of the margarine in it?
Yeah.
You could almost take it right off the stove now, even though it's half melted, because you may want to use a towel or a cloth for that. And just move it over here on my countertop. So my countertop is granite, so I can...
I probably should use the safety.
You want your
Robin
you want
Tommy
your new
used a
glove?
safety glove, yeah, always.
Oh, your new Christmas glove?
She says my hands are my money makers. I don't know what she means by that.
Just put it here. Just here. Michael, here. Right on the countertop. Okay. So the granite actually is going to help cool it down faster. So go ahead and just use the spoon and make sure that butter is melted. I say butter, margarine. And so no lumps.
This reminds me of a song that I used to like in college. It went lump, lump, lump. She's in my bed. Remember that song?
I don't know. I don't even want to know what college you went to that there's a song. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to help. You can wait till this cools completely because this is pretty hot, right? You see the steam coming out? Well, you don't want to cook your scrambled eggs. Right?
This has to cool.
Yeah, so grab your beater, get ready to go, and I'm going to put a little bit at a time. Just put it on low. Yeah.
I mean, like.
Yeah.
That's low?
Yeah, I know. I got a high power. And just a little bit. We're going to slowly raise the temperature of the egg so that it's not going to turn up scrambled egg. Right?
You can also put it in the fridge or something to cool it down.
Either way, but this also works. Because all this heat is actually going to help the dough rise too. So we just got to do it very slowly.
You don't dump it. Don't dump the whole bowl, right?
Do not dump the whole bowl.
But cooling that, like in the fridge or something.
It is. But it takes a long time, especially if you're using a metal pot or a bowl. Right?
Right. Yeah, you just melted the margarine.
Yep. So I'm just slowly. And the eggs were at almost at room temperature, probably a little bit so. So this is slowly bringing up the temperature. I don't see scrambled eggs yet. I think we're good. Right a lot of time.
Is my technique appropriate here? I don't know. Like,
But you're doing fine.
literally, it should be like.
You're doing good.
It should be the stirrers or whatever are at a 90 degree, right?
Nope,
It shouldn't be like.
You're being very. You're making too big of a deal out of it. Seriously, it's not easy. Just keep stirring it. I'm near the end here, so there you go. Okay, so it looks like you're done.
Yeah?
Okay, so we're gonna put the yeast in, but we don't need that anymore. So we're just gonna use this, actually we're gonna use a whisk first. So we're gonna do, so all this yeast, look how fuzzy all this yeast is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So, take this whisk, and just slowly, it doesn't have to be beaten. Now that the yeast is in there, make sure it's all mixed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab some salt.
Thank you. Make it harder.
Because you don't want to add the salt. Salt will actually kill the yeast, or it'll actually stall it. So you don't want to add. So now the yeast is all active, ready to go. I always like to add the salt in when I start adding the flour in.
Okay.
Make sense? Just enough because everything needs salt, right?
Okay.
So start using the whisk a little bit. I'm going to add some flour.
How much?
We're going to keep going until it pulls away from the bowl. Get all the stuff on the edge. Yeah, don't tilt it. Just you're all good. We're going to go through this most of this container.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
How many cups would that be?
We're gonna go through at least 3 to 4 cups, but we're gonna play it by ear. So one of the cool things about making bread is that it's very sensitive to your surroundings. So humidity, heat, yes, all of that stuff. So you essentially have to learn how to get the feel of what it's gonna be like.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you just keep adding and stirring and adding and stirring. And then when it gets to the point where it's too hard to stir, you're going to get your hands in there.
Okay.
Your clean hands in there.
I
know.
Yeah, I just wash the dishes, but I'll do it again.
No, I'm just teasing you. Now it's gonna. Oh, careful.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, so while you're finishing that, so I just want to talk about the wine that we're having. We've been jumping over different vintages, but we're coming back to Ontario because all four of us seem to have a newfound love for Ontario's Foreign Fair winery. And I went to an event that you didn't go to, which I thought was a little odd, but it was the pig roast this past summer. There's a previous episode for those who want to follow along. If you go to look under flyingforflavor.ca, and if you go to the previous episodes, I can't remember which one it is, but there is a whole episode where I talk about the Foreign Fair winery at the end. And one of my favorite wines from that night, that was the last night before they sold the winery, was their 2008 Cab Franc, and I fell in love with it, and I bought a couple bottles. So I used one for the podcast launch because I wanted to share it with people, and the other one I'm saving for tonight. See, we're all coming full circle.
You drank it during the podcast launch?
I did.
I don't think I was invited to that.
Oh yeah, you were. That's okay. Okay, you're almost gonna have to get your hands in there soon. How about you switch? So the whisk is getting a little full.
Yeah.
So just slam it on the edge of this. Okay. There we go. Just get your fingers in there and just That's why when it gets to the point where there's a certain point where the whisk doesn't make any sense anymore.
Right.
Right. So now that you've already got a hand in there, leave the other hand. I know. It's a little sticky.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, get that piece off. There we go. Okay. Hang on a second. More flour. So you're going to work a little more flour. So now that it's too hard for the whisk and the spoon, so now you're going to start moving your hands in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to see when it starts pulling away from the bowl. So work all of that. The more you work it in, it's going to be, I want it to become one big ball. Where you can barely distinguish the difference between the flour and the dough.
Am I doing
You should
it right?
almost get to the point where it's one ball and you can use one hand.
Okay.
This is the first time I've done an audio tutorial on bread dough, aside from maybe a CBC spot. So
Yeah. Baking for Dummies with Mike Tamburo.
it's not baking for dummies, no. But this is, I want people at home to understand what they're not seeing.
Right. Highly descriptive.
Yeah.
But they could also go to the...
Once you get all that last little bit of flour in the bottom, it should be coming into one big ball, right? Do you want a little more extra flour?
I have no idea.
Do you feel like it's coming away from the bowl, or are your hands still really sticky? Want a little
Sticky.
little bit?
Yeah, I guess.
That's the whole thing, is you'll know. I want you to get to the point where it's pulling away from the ball and you're getting one ball of dough, and you don't necessarily you only need one hand. Because then I'm going to show you how to knead. Get stuff off the edge. Yep, okay.
Right? Kind
Yeah.
of, no?
Yeah. Yeah, you can work all that stuff in. On the bottom, you're just about there. Okay, yeah, because the reason you don't want to add too much flour all at once is because the dough will get really stiff, right? So you only want to add just enough flour so that it's starting to pull away from the bowl and becomes a ball.
Okay.
Good?
Does that look right to you?
Yeah. So now the kneading you can pick up this last little bit, the stuff that's not sticking in. So kneading is basically you're trying to push air in. So you're going to, I'm going to show you, you're going to want you to bring it back into a ball.
Okay.
This is a one-hand thing. Put it in the bottom of the bowl. And you're going to push with the heel of your hand in through the center of it. And then you're going to pull back that piece on top of itself. not push down, push out.
Again?
Push down and out. And then this part you just push back in. Yes, that's it. And you're gonna push and pull. And you move the bowl around and just keep going.
What am I trying to do?
That's called kneading.
But what am I? What does kneading try to do?
You're stretching the dough. You're adding air into it. You're activating the yeast. All that fun stuff that happens with bread making. The kneading part is part of the magic.
How's my technique there?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking it very seriously though. But you see how it's all the stuff from the bottom of the bowl's gone?
Yeah.
It's like one big ball of dough.
Right. It's awesome. Can't believe you know how to do this. Actually, I shouldn't say. Because
It's not my first rodeo dough.
it's not your first rodeo,
It's not my first
as they say in California.
It's not my first rodeo. Yeah. I have to admit, this is the first time I've been drinking and baking.
Oh, well.
I was gonna say high five, but your hands are busy.
I'm going to say it's my first time baking, and I'm also drinking.
Okay. How does that feel? So as soon as you feel like the dough's nice and soft,
It's awesome,
yeah?
I think.
Okay. So now all you need to do is make it into a nice ball and leave it in the bottom of the bowl.
Okay.
Yep, throw all that in the bottom. You can wash your hands in a second.
Okay.
So now, this is a clean tea towel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put this over top, and we're going to leave it in a draft-free place. So for me, that's going to be just at the edge of my stove here. I figure it's probably the closest place that you're going to get a little bit of warmth because we were cooking earlier. But we're going to let that sit until tomorrow. We're going to let it go till tomorrow morning until at least it doubles in size. So if I was doing this during the day, if we did this in the morning, maybe 3-4 hours later, at the minimum, it's going to be at least double, depending on the size of the dough you're making. And now tomorrow morning, we're actually going to punch it down and let it rise again. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to shape it into whatever we want to, and then we'll be ready to bake it. So by lunchtime tomorrow, we'll have bread for you to take home.
So we're going to meet here tomorrow morning at like what time to do that?
We're going to meet more. Okay, say like, yeah, we're all staying here, but that's okay. You can make it sound like you're leaving and coming back.